now, but I'll keep it on just for the funs of it all. Niiamah here. Glad that you are playing with us, coming at you live from the Outliers Ed Studio. We are now going live on multiple platforms, and we should be all set up. So let's go in and dive in. Hi everyone, Niiamah Ashong here. I'm the founder of Outliers Edge, which is a movement of extraordinary individuals and leaders who are taking the things about them that make them different and using that to make a whole world of difference by creating their impact in a way that is sustainable, repeatable, and doesn't and leverages who they are without them having to be there. And so we are playing right now in the midst of what we call the 10K Live game. And the 10K Live is that I sent a game out to record 10,000 minutes live here so that, well, really just so I can get back into a spirit of play. And this experience it's been one of the best decisions I've made in all of 2025. And I've had we're at the end of December of 2025 right now when I make recording this. And so I've had almost a full year to reflect on it. Why though? Why? And the reason for this more than anything else is that it's helping me create live every single day, help me create in real time every single day. And I'm seeing with that a number of I'm seeing myself reduce the friction between when I have an idea and it come into life. Also seeing the friction of uh, I'm seeing myself being able to improve on a regular basis. One of my goals here is, and one of the reasons I thought of the 10,000 minutes instead of hours or anything else. I'm like, I want to be able to see myself improve by just 1% each time, right? But then I realized that I get a chance to choose what like that time is when I say each time. I get to choose the period in which the 1% grows. I can grow by 1% over a decade. I can grow by 1% every year. I can grow 1% every month, or every live stream. And I'm realizing, like, for me, what's happening in a very real time, which is awesome, is that it feels like it's 1% every minute. Like I can see where I'm at now compared to where I've been and how I'm learning things, and it's playing stuff out in a really wonderful way. So I'm also grateful for that. And the third reason that I'm grateful for is that it has put me on my edge. And the reason I say that is because I actually woke up today with a vulnerability hangover. And I haven't had a vulnerability hangover in, I don't know, in a couple of years. So if you're not familiar with it, a vulnerability hangover, I first heard it through Brene Brown. And it's basically like if you share something or you do something that is vulnerable for you, later on you might experience something where you feel like some regret around it, or you're second guessing yourself around it, and that's the hangover of the vulnerability, and so uh, y'all, I have been feeling that this morning. I actually knew that I was going to come on today and talk about this live, and I gave myself about like an hour or two. I realized, like, through other productive means before I came on to actually share it. I was like really in the fields of it. Why is this? So the vulnerability hangover for me ended up because yesterday we ended up doing about a 2 hour live here where I invited one of my producers to come onto the show and share some of the things that had to work through a breakthrough that I had. Right? And we did it live here. She didn't know about it. It was our first time doing it. I recommend that you go watch it. It actually makes me uncomfortable to say that, given how much vulnerability I feel around it. But I do recommend it. You go watch it. And the experience was really spontaneous. I was going to say rather spontaneous. I was like, no, but it was like really spontaneous. I sent her a message, and then she jumped on, and then and we're working together. We're still figuring out how we work best together, and so forth. So there's a lot in there where it could have gone in many different ways. And I woke up today wondering to myself, oh, not was it the right call? That wasn't it. It wasn't that. It was more around the feelings of a bit of dread, a bit of like, oh my goodness, like, oh, what if what if I came off looking like a bad leader? What if I look like someone that's like not good to work with? There were times where we were talking about new ideas. I'm like, but I really want to do this thing, And I was like, oh, is that going to come off as me being standoffish or not able to um, take in new opinions and new ideas? I'm like, that wasn't how I was feeling around it. It was just like, oh, I know that like there's something I'm trying to get done. Let's get that done. But I don't want to like explain or defend anything like that, but it was these were some of the thoughts that were coming through. The other parts where I was I had people come in and watch the stream, and at least one platform I can see like, oh, like who are the people who like watch even just for a little bit. And there was someone that I knew and that I know and that I really respect. I respect him. I respect his business. I respect his friendship. And he dialed into the stream for I don't know how long, but he was there for a bit. And what I've recognized that once I realized he was there, something shifted inside of me where I was like, all of a sudden I felt like almost like a little boy again, like a child, like, oh no, I'm supposed to be far more ahead in business. Like this person's serious. What like how I'm using this live streaming platform. I must look like I'm out here playing out here. I'm not coming off as an authority per se. I'm actually letting people see my messiness and how I'm trying to create it, rather than actually being in the full like levels of authority. And so I found myself looking at this and thinking like, am I coming off as naive? Would this person even want to like if I went and I saw him right now, would he respect what I'm doing? I respect him. We were on a peer level before, but like maybe something has shifted in me. And this might have been like the imposter side of things. It was like, oh no, now he's gonna really know like this is how I play the game, and it was an oh no. It wasn't like, oh now he's gonna really know how I play the game. Like there's an empowering side to it, but that wasn't what I was feeling in the moment. And so I recognize that. And there's the vulnerability of like being like, oh wow, like people are seeing how I actually show up and that I'm still figuring things out. And that's not how things tend to be, especially when like in this business of uh, leading and education. I don't know how to describe it, like helping coaching, helping all that stuff. Like there's some element of like you're not supposed to see that I'm still figuring things out. You're not supposed to see that I'm making things up. You're not supposed to see that I haven't figured it all out. It's supposed to come to you after it's all done and be like, look how pretty this is. Look how amazing it is. And you can have it too. Like that's how it's supposed to be. And I'm out here like being like, so y'all, this is happening and we're going to figure this out in real time. I'm not going to stop doing that, but it doesn't change the fact that it feels really vulnerable because I'm still in the place before I'm getting back the receipts on it, before I'm getting accolades or seeing how that translates into clients and revenue and impact and ongoing partnerships and so on and so forth. And so I want to make sure I'm calling this out. I want to make sure I'm speaking to it because one of the benefits of doing this live is that one, I don't have any room to hide, right? What you see, yeah, I don't have any room to hide. So like, if I'm grimacing, like I can't edit that out. It's happening. Um, the other part of it is that it allows me to actually document what is happening in real time, rather than working it out on the side and then coming back in and being like, "Oh, Niiamah, like I don't know, I don't want to like put out this image that like this is like easy per se. Like there's parts of this that is like full of ease. Like I don't mind. I could hit record and just talk. And so I'm doing it. I'm finally doing it. But there's the simplicity of taking that action doesn't mean that it's actually coming easily to me, if that makes sense. It's like I have to, psych myself up or be like, oh, I don't know where this is going to go. I doubt on a regular basis. I'm like, is this the right path for me? And so forth. And so I just want to make sure that I'm capturing that because there will be a time where this is so clearly embedded in the business that if like, what else would I do? That there will be a time where people come on and it's not just my live stream, but we have multiple live streams with multiple facilitators, all having different conversations and uplifting different outliers in various capacities on a regular basis. It will just look like how things are done. It will be normal. It'd be so normal, and what you come to expect. But right now, I'm before that. I want to make sure I'm capturing this in real time. I want to be documenting this journey and progress along the way. I want to call out where I'm like doubting myself, and it's not from a place of total insecurity. It's not that. It's not stopping me. It's just like these are some of the things that are happening on the inside, and I think that uh, again, one of the gifts of this is that like I get a chance to share what's happening on the inside externally. I don't get to hide. And I'm happy about that because I spent most of my life hiding who I was in various capacities, hiding to in order to be accepted. And now I'm like, oh, like I'm going for it. This is it. So I wanted to speak to the vulnerability hangover. I wanted to put that out here. I'm documenting it for myself, but I'm also going to invite you to like to spend some time right now. And it's not to go and like share, but like when is the time you had a vulnerability hangover? You can share that. It'd be really lovely for us to be able to see and to be in the same experience with you. But I'm curious like about how did you like work through it? What were your next steps? Right now, you're seeing me in part of it. Part of it. The first parts of it was me sending some different audio messages to people. It was me talking to my wife about it, and me spending time just like analyzing the feelings I was feeling. And then I knew I was like, oh, I'll go live and talk about it. And usually by that time, like it's played its part. And I want to see like your process. How do you process through when you're feeling a vulnerability hangover? What are your go to moves? Just leave a quick message in the chat and or in the comments if you're watching this later on, so that we can continue on this conversation and keep growing. And so I will say this. I've been doing live streams on and off since for about 10 years. And it had been off for a very long time. But the I remember this from when I was doing it back in like Singapore and beyond. It was basically whenever I got to a place where I felt like I had crossed my edge, where I got to a place where I felt really uncomfortable, the the test, the freedom, the path of freedom for me, the path of actually allowing this to become embodied was when I made a live video or I posted a video. And there was something in that space, in that interaction, that actually dissipated the feelings that I was having around yeah, I guess that's when the vulnerability went away, and I think it's because I took back my power in it. There's one element of waiting to see, like, am I going to be chastised? What are people going to think about this? So on and so forth. It's another thing to call myself in and be like, hey, just so you know, that was difficult. I'm not sure if I did that right. I feel exposed that like people get a chance to now see how I like interact with my team. Like, am I really like what if someone comes and says, yeah, I wanted to get your help to help me lead my team, but I saw the way you interact with yours, and I don't want that. Like these are the kinds of things that play out for me. And uh, but I recognize that when I call it out loud, when I speak it out into the world, and I like to do it on these live platforms, like, maybe it'll change when I have hundreds of thousands of people watching it at the same time. But I know this is going to live immediately. It lives right now and it's going to continue living on all the different platforms that this is out on. And so I wanted to, you find with me, I'm going to do the work in real time. All right. I want there's an element of this that I know from my own experience that there's going to be a time where this doesn't feel hard and it's going to look easy. And it's going to feel like I was born with it or it's innate or it was something that like I have something that other people don't like it's not that at all. It's just that I'm choosing to go through the discomfort of it. And I have gone through so much discomfort in life that I'm starting to learn the different paths and trends and pathways to help me process that discomfort in a way that builds and uplifts and grows me, as opposed to shuts me down and has me like hiding from people until I feel like everything's really polished and ready to go. And so I invite you to think through for yourself, like, what's your process? What have you done? Like, what do you tend to do? You may not even think you do something, but if you give yourself a chance to think about when was the last time I really felt vulnerable, I took a risk on it. The next day, I felt like this like vulnerability hangover. Like, what did I do here to not just push it away, but to actually help me grow? All right. This is part of my process. So I'm glad I got a chance to call that in. I am there is a lot of greatness that has come as a result of it. Like, look, I'm happy I had that vulnerability hangover. I haven't felt that in years, and that's massive for me to say because I feel like it speaks to the growth journey. Uh, Back when I was Nemo back in 2018, 2019, I had entered into the coaching world and I was experiencing like I call it I was practicing with different ways of being. I was expanding what was comfortable for me because I was used to being like some version that had to be joyful, that was always looking into positivity, that only had one like real dimension, and it was just like a yellow dimension, yellow being the color of joy, right? And I would say things and I'd be like, "Whoa, didn't know I was gonna say that." Like you can literally watch like other live streams from 2018, 2019, where I would come on and I would say something like, I remember the time when I said, um, maybe I'm not too much, maybe you're not enough. That when I said that on something that like you can see the video, I was like, "Ah, I just said that, but maybe that's it. Maybe I don't need to shrink. Maybe you need to step up your game." And it's been transformative. I talk a lot, but that's something I remember over time. And so I'm grateful that I had this vulnerability hangover because I didn't do it knowing I was going to have a vulnerability hangover. I was just like, hey, look, I need to get 10,000 minutes and I am challenging myself. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. It's not I need to, but I'm playing this game where I got to like go to 10,000 minutes and I get to see now. I get to see how I can expand what I think is comfortable, what I think is allowed in a live environment. And then I went somewhere with it. And then later on, it wasn't regret, but it was vulnerable. I recognized how vulnerable that actually felt. And this morning when I was reflecting on it, I was like, oh yeah, well, that's been a while. Like I've found myself in places where it's been easy to be sharing, easy to be open, to do different things, but I haven't felt vulnerable in a hot minute. And so I'm grateful for it because to me that means I'm growing again. There's something really important in there. All right, cool. So share with me any insights you have for yourself. Share like if you've ever even felt like a vulnerability hangover, like just put the number one in the chat. Like I'm going to play around here when I do these conversations here. This is for us right now in real time. One of the fun thing that's happened is that I ended up talking to a group of people that I've worked with in the past, and to help us go and take these live streams that we're doing and turn them into different repurposed, digestible pieces of thought leadership and content and such in the future. So there's an opportunity for us when we get to that stage to, I guess what I'm saying is that there'll be things in here that'll be content, but like the reason we're here live is it gives us a chance to do things live. So let's play into it. So with that, I want to talk about some one of the outcomes from yesterday's conversation, the one that led to the vulnerability hangover, but it led to more than that. And just like I wasn't just like stuck in the vulnerability. I was like, oh, ooh, this like I'm recognizing that I'm judging myself in here and I'm feeling vulnerable about it. But I also recognize that I got so much from the conversation. And one of the major things that took place for me was that I came to the recognition that I have to find the right language of this here, but the language that I'm kind of playing is like my way of creating clients and really initiating like connections and connecting people is invitation. I think that's it. My leadership is invitation. My connection is invitation. And what was happening was that I was looking at trying to understand basically a new client creation flow, right? A new strategy using live streams here. And the initial intent was that I was going to take my podcast and then just do it live. Like that was it. And then afterwards, the 10K live thing came on, which only was like that only was able to happen because I was already decided to go live. I had already done so. I already decided to step my foot into the live world. And then as a result of being here, I then was like, oh, well, what would be a game that would be fun to play with this? And that's where the 10K live came in. I want to speak to that here. And I think that what I want to speak to is there's something about taking action and being like committed to continuing to grow and iterate on that action where the information comes back to you at just like faster than you might expect. And so I did not know that I would be like I didn't have a content calendar that I would be like, oh, on this day, 3 weeks after I start doing live streaming, like we're gonna have a conversation like this. It's not how it was. Everything keeps snowballing. And every time I show up, I'm getting feedback. I'm learning different things. I'm finding more things about the tools. I'm getting different ways to play things. And I also get a chance to like see how I'm showing up as a leader. And so like just even this part right here, I'll let you in like in my head. In this part right here, I realized that I was about to share something with you. And there may be a way that I can frame it such that when my editing team comes in later on, they would be able to see and recognize this as its own individual reel or clip or story, like like a short. There it is. And so if I just kind of blurt it, then that's one thing. But if I set it up in a certain way, it might be something that's easily clippable where they're like, oh, that was a great, 60 seconds. That was a great whatever sound bite or whatever it is. We're going to use that. And so that was one of the things that happened in the back of my mind as it happened, and I changed the way that I was about to deliver this. And so, like, this is why I like doing things live too, because you get to see the behind the scenes of it all. You get to see like how I'm like what's going on for me. But that was the real thing that took place. It wasn't just the words that took place, but I actually had a 1% shift where I was like, oh, I like. I can continuously go back and forth between creating for longevity and creating for this moment, interacting with people in real time, sharing what's happening for me in real time, but also finding ways to package it in ways that will be very easy and advantageous and digestible for people in the future. So I wanted to let you know, like that. I just stepped into another level. I just stepped into like a new boss to try and figure out, or like there's some kind of quest that is associated with this that is not playing out. From the element here of invitation, like I recognize now that like Outliers Edge is a convers like I've known it, but it's like a movement of conversations. Like that's what powers the movement, like conversations, us bringing people together and having outlier experiences with one another. And where I was at before was that I was thinking about this as how do I get more people to come and view the live stream or even come on the live stream and then maybe enter into the school group so that we can then go and actually like this is I don't make my monies through this, right? It's not how the business functions. I don't get advertising revenue. I'm not taking on sponsors. Like Outliers Edge is the sponsor of this. You can see us here where it says in the upper left hand corner on your screen there's an invitation to join the movement. Take your phone out, use a QR code, and come join us inside of the school group. It's a free community there, but we have other ways that we go and for deeper level of access, privacy, so on and so forth. We have different ways that we support Outliers to bring your vision out to life. Like that's how like things get monetized with me. It's coaching and community. Those are what I do, not sponsorships. So I say that, and the thing became okay. Well, then how do I like create that bridge? And what occurred to me was that the way I was trying to build this was mainly through impressions and views and having a certain. And I didn't know this, by the way. Like it literally clicked to me yesterday. But it's like, oh, the game of content, and I like to call it thought leadership, but like let's just use content as a bigger bucket. The game of content is. For a discovery perspective, it's how many like a percentage, how many impressions did you get, and then a percentage of those impressions are going to go and click on your bio or click on a link that's there, so you can get some kind of click through rate, and then a certain percentage of those people who click through will then go on and take the next step on whatever your next page is, right? And there's a reason why when we talk about impressions and things like you'll see this a lot if you've ever done any ads or anything like that, they ads or sponsorships, right? They talk about CPMs, cost per mille, and it's cost per 1,000 of it. All right. And so it's like to get to just like they look at this and say, okay, for every 1,000 people, like what did it cost to get in front of those people? Or what did it cost to get through? Yeah, that's basically it. And so I'm recognizing like I have to think about everything in terms of thousands for this. And essentially it just feels like, oh, like these contents end up being like a different form of advertisement. It's just what's the impressions that come along with it. I didn't get that. I didn't know that. And then from there, from the sales side of this, then it becomes if impressions is where things start, then as things go on, you a certain percentage of those people, like a certain percentage, continue down to the next step. So you might start up with 100,000 impressions. 1.1% of them click on your profile. 30% of the people who click on your profile click on your link. Of the people who click on of the 30% that clicked on your link, maybe 50% sign up for that free lead magnet that you have, and then so on and so forth, right? And it continues all the way down until you're like, and then it leads to a client, you know. And you do this whole thing over and over again, at least when it comes to the client creation side of things. And what I realized is like I could play that numbers game because I've heard people say like client creation isn't a numbers game. As I go through it more and more, maybe it's my econ side of it. I'm like, no, it is a numbers game. I don't think it's there's a there's different levels of nuance that I'm seeing with it as it comes along, and I'm trying to see if I can pull out what that nuance is right now. I can't yet, but I've become more aware that there's nuance to the numbers game. I'll kind of play it out in this way. The way that I'm looking at it is uh, I want to get people the ultimate things I like I want to work with people. Like that's it. Like I just want to do the work. And the invitation here is like I can do the work if I get well, really what happened was that I thought about one of my mentors and coaches that I respect. I've been in his programs for multiple years. And he said at some point publicly that like he had like 1,000 people a month that were buying his book. And from there, he's been able to build the rest of his business. And it occurred to me that I'm like I wanted what he had in terms of like the audience, the retreats, the multiple programs, the high level people that he was bringing in. I wanted that, and I was asking myself, oh well, how do I go and get just how do I get the how do I find those people? And it occurred to me, I'm laughing at myself right now, like 7 years into being in his world, it occurred to me, and I'm like, oh, wait, if I had 1,000 people every single month who were finding me through my like biggest, like my best piece of work that I put out there, I too could consistently make offers, and I too would have some subset of those 1,000 would be people who are ready to play a really big game or invest a lot in themselves, and that would really challenge me. Like it'd be really really fun. But the thing is, like, it started out with that 1,000 people a month. And to be honest, I actually ended up writing a book. It's 200 pages. It's like it's been ready to be out in the world. You can download it. It is available right now. It has to go through other edits and things like that. But I ended up writing a book because I was like, oh, this person wrote a book, and I found I found something that I trusted to get that would make it come to life. The thing though was that I'm like, oh, I now have to go and promote that book, and it isn't actually the best form of me. It is highly leveraged, and so on and so forth, because you write the book once and it's still selling, a year, decades later. But it's not the best form for 1,000 new people to reach me because I'm not a writer. I'm not like that's not how I communicate. I'm like, but conversations is, podcasting is, so on and so forth. I'm like, well, what if I can get 1,000 people through that? And that led me down a path of saying, okay, if I can get 1,000 people through that, like, just basically I had to start solving for that problem. Like, what would it be like to get 1,000 people through the podcast? And it was not, it was, there was the listeners, but eventually where I realized that my skill set lies. And I think it's important right now because I am a solopreneur in this game here, right? So it's like I have to bring it to life. So there are things that work for people, but if it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work. Right? Uh, and I can go learn how to go make it. I can learn how to be mediocre at something that other people do, or I can learn how to become extraordinary, stupendous, one of a kind, like at like a master at the top of my game at things that come easy to me, my genius, and so that's the game that you see me playing right now, where I'm like, how do I actually become genius level at this? How do I make this so that it's I get disproportionate results for every second that I put into the things that I am actually good at, the things that I actually excel at. And so that made me realize that for me, I love inviting people. And what if I didn't have to go out and get 1,000 people uh, to eventually end up getting into like my community or the things I was offering by means of broadcasting something and then repurposing it and getting it out there. But what if I can just talk to 1,000 people? What if I could invite 1,000 people onto my platform every single month? That question became very like, I'm like, oh, I can do that. You know, is it the most like effective way? Is it the best like use of time? Is it like it doesn't matter? It didn't matter. I could do it. I could see it. And I knew that like I love inviting people and I have great things to invite people to. And inviting is my leadership. Inviting is what's fun for me. I just want I want to do that because I know I've always wanted to be invited. That's wow. I didn't expect that to come out like that, but it did. Yeah, I know I always wanted to be invited. That was belonging to me, being like, hey, why don't you come in and be a part of this, rather than be on the outside or be around it, like come be in it. And so yeah, invitation is a very powerful thing for me. And so getting to that 1,000 people a month, like change from it became how do I actually get 1,000 people a month? And I got pretty close. So I ended up coming up and doing cold email. I sent out thousands of emails, so well over 20,000 emails to people. Sorry, well, 20,000 individual people. At least 60,000, maybe even closer to 100K of actual emails sent um, to do that. Uh, and at some point, we were talking to about like 100 new people every single week. So if I kept that up for 10 weeks, that would have been 1,000 people, right? So it would have been 1,000 people in 10 weeks, which is like that's a good place to start. Now I just got to cut that by two and a half, and I get 1,000 people a month, right? That's now you see me in that game right now. I'm like, all right, how do I now do that again for the 1,000 people a month? So the when I came onto the live stream, I got confused and I thought I had to go and uh, get people to watch. But really, right now, the place that my next steps are all involved in how do I actually just get like have 1,000 people come onto the live stream with me over the next in a month. That's it, right? And it might be with me, it might be with a member of the Outliers Edge team, another facilitator, so on and so forth. But how do I make sure that like it's not about the viewers later, but it's about the people who actually come onto here. So that's what I'm trying to solve for right now. That's where my head's gone into, where it's like, all right, what's the invitation engine, and what's the experience that someone's going to go through to to get invited to come and join me on here, what they're going to do after they come and join me on here, how does this lead to them getting an incredible experience while being on the live, and being taken care of from a content repurposing perspective. Like, how do I platform them properly, while at the same time making sure that it's interesting for me, that it actually showcases me, because there's a way that I can platform others that takes me out. It's a way that I can hide. Interview style is one of those ways where it's like you don't really get to see me, you get to see them. And I think that like I was I was finding that to be not the way I wanted things to go in the long run. And so these are the kind of things that I'm playing with right now. These are the things that I'm playing through and experimenting with right now. I'm trying to solve for this. The One of the things that I believe makes sense based on what I've seen so far and what I've like seen about myself so far is that first thing. Well, let me put it this way. I figured out some things already. I figured out how to reach out to complete and total strangers, how to follow up with them, how to get those strangers to open up a message for me, how to get them to reply back to a message for me, how to get them to then click a link and take action to off of the platform we were on. I figured out how to get them to then go and sign up for something with me, to sign up to how to get onto the platform, and then figured out how to get them to then go and sign up to then enter into like my coaching client creation process. So like if you hear this, there's two different components. One component is this is the content, this is the platforming side of things, and then what I do there, like I look at it as my lead magnet, and then the next thing I do is that I give them an invitation to come join me in where we're actually working on things. So if you work with me, it is not about content, it's not about ideas, it's not about theory, it is about implementation. I'm like, let us go and create. All my clients are co-creators, like let's create this thing. What is the vision that you're trying to get done? How much you want to make when you get it done? How soon do you want to get it done there? What are the gifts and skills and attributes that you bring out to the table? What are you already doing? What's worked for you? How do we create an engine and a system so that this can happen over and over and over again, and it ends up being like fulfilling and vibrant, and you get to create a livelihood off of it, and you can rely on that working for you even when you're not working it. Like, I love that stuff. Like, that's what we actually do. And I have to find different ways to say that more succinctly, but man, do I come alive with that. And so this is where I'm now focusing the energy and time to go and say, okay, where like let me go bring in more people to just come in and talk. If any of you right now are saying like, hey, Niam, I've never been on a live stream before. I'm hearing what you're doing. I've been kind of listening to this like kind of in the back of my mind, but it'd be kind of cool just to come say hi, or to come like let me know. I'll send you a link. You can come join me on here, because my goal is to actually talk to 33 people every single day. Right? If I can talk to 33 people every single day, I have to figure this out with the weekends, but let's just do this here. I'm reverse engineering what I want, which is if I want 1,000 people a month to come through and join me inside of the movement, well, then let's reverse engineer that. 1,000 people a month, assuming 30 days in a month, that becomes 33 people a day. All right. So that's what that's what I'm solving for. I'm like, all right, how do I get 33 people a day to come and join inside of inside of the movement? How do I get 33 people a day and to me, I'm like, oh, that comes down to like, how do I interact with at least 33 people? Probably like 60 people. But like where does that go? And so you're gonna see me now. I feel like you're kind of getting I'm able to talk to you about what I'm about to do. Uh, but I have to actually go and do it. And for today, I'm probably not going to do the live stream in real time as I'm doing it. But the key for me is I'll share a bit about like what I think I'm going to get done, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you what actually happened. So my general thing is that I see myself like we're gonna get the invitations back up for the cold emails. We'll move into I can see myself move into like cold DMs as well as getting some additional referrals in place. But I want to just be able to go around and be like, oh, this person looks cool. Like, come join us. Like, I have this thing. You want to come be on the platform? And my goal would be to be on here on this platform for about like 5 hours a day and just like having people throughout the day just rotate in and out. They can stay for 5 minutes, they can stay for an hour or longer, but we're hanging out and we're chilling while also like doing like challenging ourselves and doing the work together of growing our businesses and our impact, right? And so for me, the way I'm looking at this is that if I can like I don't I would like to think about how I can overlap things. So like how can my marketing also be my service, also be my enrollment process? If I can do all three of those things with the same effort, then I don't have to like carve out my day to do three different activities. It's like, oh, the only activity I need to do is show up and co-create with people through a live stream and then make sure that they have a pathway to continue down if they don't want to keep doing it publicly or they want to do it with more on their time than and less on like the time that I have set aside for it. So like there's an ease to it. I get a chance to get good at one thing. Right. And so that's where I'm going to go focus right now. I have to look at it and say, I was talking earlier about I take the things that have already worked and then just like use it again. Right. That's where I was going into like, I know I've figured out how to reach out to new people, how to send them emails, how to get an open email, so on and so forth. Right. By the way, each of those things that I mentioned, if you're thinking about for yourself, this is part of your client creation like journey. Like these are all the steps that are involved. And I actually track like what percentage of people take each step along the way. So that helps me know like, oh, what's actually broken or what's not working as well as I can get it to work. Or like, when is this working good enough that the only thing left to do is just to get more people in because it doesn't need any more improvement. I just need more people. And so right now, I'm looking at this and saying, okay, in the past, I would send people a cold message, a cold outreach to come and be on my platform. And then if they said yes to being featured on my platform, I would then send them the next steps, some additional information and the next steps. And then they would click a link and then they would go to a page to go sign up on a calendar to find a time for them to be featured. All right. And at that time, I was only ever doing one thing, which was the Outliers Edge roundtables and like holding panels with 4 to 6 people at a time. I have to decide if that's how I want to do it this time. Like, I want to do more coaching. I want to do more like jamming. All right. I want to be able to bring on my peers and be like, so what are you up to right now? Like, let's talk through it. Or how are you thinking about this? I can do that through the podcast, but like I haven't like there's something about the way that I keep setting it up that makes me default back to in like more interviewer or facilitator of conversation versus peer to peer. And that's why I say jamming. Like we're peer to peers on this one, and it's just like, so what are you up to? How are we like? What are you creating? Man, that sounds interesting. Like, oh, wow, that feels hard. Like, how you handling that? And being in that and sharing what I'm up to, and just being in that kind of collaborative, co-creative space. I'm trying to create that, and there's something about the way that I construct the roundtables or that I have the roundtables in my head that hasn't created that level of freedom. And it's all made up. It's like this individual, like this thing I made up, and I haven't been able to give myself the additional freedom I want to play full out. And so what's coming to me is I'm trying to figure out, do I have one invitation where it's like one link and people just go and schedule the time and whatever they schedule time for is what we do? Do I do something where it's like, oh, you know what, you'd be good for coaching, and if you want to do the coaching because you get this time, and or if you want to go and have a 15-minute focus on you, then you use this link, or like we're going to have 4 people come into a panel and we're going to have that discussion. I don't know that step. I'll be curious what like if any of you have any thoughts on it. Like, let me know. But I don't know that next step. Part of me is saying, Len, let's just start off with as little friction as possible and just make it like uh, just get them on the calendar. Like that's the least amount of friction. It's like just find a time. You know, I love bringing people together though. So like, there's a part of me that's like, oh, it'd be really easy to reach out and have people do 15 minutes at a time. And like they come on to the thing, I ask them a few questions, and then like, they're done. If they want to stay on, they can. If they don't, then they're good. But it's a nice, simple, easy feature, and it would hit like the number of people that I need to meet and such goals. I think it'll fall flat unless I do it like 8 hours a day, because it'd be one person every 15 minutes. So 15 minutes, I can get four people. If I can do it 8 hours a day with no breaks in between there, that's four times eight, that's 32. And that's still a person short, right? Of the 33 a day. So that's probably not where I don't know if I'll go down that path. But I do feel I think it'd be really fun to do like more of the panels, more coaching in between. 33 doesn't need to actually be a number. It's a made up number that I made, that I had in mind. But it's something that it helps me try and solve for there's solving for problem there's solving there are two ways to look at things when you're trying to create something new. One of them could be to solve a problem, and the other one could be to generate a possibility. So problem solving is what most people come in and believe that like and get paid for, right? They're used to like, you tell us what's wrong, we are going to go and figure out how to solve it, and or we already have a solution for that there, and you're going to pay us to go and implement said solution, right? Uh, the way that I have found to be that I like to play is in possibility generate, which is, what's the thing that you want to create? Great. Let us go through the process of actually creating that with you. So another way of saying is problem solving versus possibility creating, right? Right now, I'm in that possibility creating energy where it's like, I don't necessarily have a problem, but like the possibility I love to create is to get 30 people a day, 33 people a day to come interact with me live. I have to I'm thinking through what are the messages I'm going to send through and all that. But whenever I get into my head, I can feel it. This is why I have to jump off this. When I get into my head, I'm like, oh, what's the message I would send? And so on and so forth. What y'all don't know is that like right before I came on here, I was thinking about someone from someone that I have worked with in the past. And I was like, you know what? We haven't talked in a while. And I was like, we should reconnect. And then right after I said we should reconnect, they sent her a message saying like, actually, why don't you just come on live? Like if you want to reconnect, we can connect for 15, 30 minutes. If you want to come on live, I'm happy to give you coaching for an hour. Like, and that's how this game works. So I have a feeling that that the process here is that I need to start inviting people. And once I start inviting people, then I will then see what felt natural to me. And I'll also get a chance to see what felt cumbersome. Where did I like it's almost like being willing to recognize I'm not going to be as efficient yet, right? So where did my efficiencies fall through? So I can have someone come on live and just give them the link to come directly on here. But that might mean that I never get their email address. There's no way for us to continue talking afterwards. They never got into the community. It was just like this live thing where people dropped in, dropped out, and I gave them a platform for a bit, but there was nothing, there's no exchange. And I know for myself, as much as I can seem more altruistic, I know that if there's no energy coming back in for me, I know I can do energy out, but if no energy comes back in, then I'm out. Like, part of the other reason why I'm stopping here is like, it's been about 45 minutes of me just talking outwards. And I'm like, ooh, now I need to go get some energy in. I need to go be with people. I need to have that come back. I'm an extrovert, y'all. So there's some part of me that craves that. So I'm gonna play with it. And I have a sense that it's probably like leverage what I've already been doing, keep things super simple, keep the friction as low as I can right now, and just reach out to people and be like, hey, can I feature you? Or hey, do you want to call like, oh, this is what's happening in real time. Yeah, this makes sense. My brain goes to, oh, go reach out to the 1,000 people that you had on the podcast before and invite them in. And this is where it's falling apart, because I'm now trying to think about what's the campaign to send to everyone right off the bat. And then I'm like, okay, well, if I'm sending it to this 1,000 people out here, what's the next steps for each of them to go through properly, so on and so forth. The shift that occurred for me right now was that actually the game is probably more to go think of a person and to like actually have a legitimate invitation for them to come join you here on Outliers on the Edge. I haven't even said the name of this now. Um, I'll talk more about why I'm calling it that in a bit. But go go send Yeah, just go talk to like think of one person. This is Rich Liffin, slow down and speed up. So this one right now is not about how do I reach out to everyone and do I have every single one of the modalities covered and so on and so forth. It's hey, I think I'm gonna do 10,000 minutes of live streaming in the next 6 weeks. Let me go hit record so I can get that first minute in. Right. And just start accumulating that. I think that's the same thing. It's like, all right, I'm gonna get to 30 people a day. Maybe it's not on day one I get to 30 people a day, but maybe by the end of February or by the end of like, by the end of the quarter, I'm getting 30 people a day or maybe 50 people a day. Like, I don't know what that is, but there's something in it. And for now, it's go do this the manual way. Go reach out to people individually, one off there. Now, when I say this, I'm gonna keep unpacking in real time. Then I'm gonna jump off and go handle this. But when I say this, the manual way and such, to me does not mean that we are that I plan on doing this like this forever. It's just like, oh, if I'm like not sure, then it's probably because I'm trying to take on something that is too different from what I already know. And I'm too far away. It's almost like saying I'm gonna go see my cousin. My cousin just moved to a new house in a new town, and I need to pull out the map and check out and highlight the exact route that I'm gonna go to in order to get there. All right. As opposed to being like, well, we live in like, the age of Google Maps and, I could just like get in the car, put in the address where I know I want to go, and then just like drive forward. And then based on where I'm at, it will tell me what the very next step is. And I have gotten to places for years not knowing anything more than at the light, turn left, and that's it, and I think that that's what is happening right now. That's what's happening with the 10,000 minutes live. Like all of those things are like just being like you're driving and you're getting closer and closer to the destination versus I'm sitting at home and being like using my highlight like is this going to get me there? Oh no, nope. It turns out that this is closed. Let me start all over. Okay, what if I tried this path? Like that's not what's necessary. It's not yeah, that's what I'm finding. It's not that necessary. So what you hear me doing. I'm so glad I got a chance to spend time with you and you get a chance to see this here. Uh, I get excited for my team being able to come back later on, reading the transcripts of this and be like, "Hey, Niiamah, you did this thing while you were talking live, like, and it happened to come to you in real time. Can you now make a video about whatever that was? Like, what was that realization of like, being able to just make the next left turn? Like, what is that all about, right? That that feels cool. That feels cool. It feels like nice to be able to see this in real time and be like, oh yeah, I'm doing this thing where I'm building the end goal and I have to know every single step at it. But I'm still a beginner. I still haven't done it yet. That being said, like I don't look at this as it doesn't have to take a long time. So I might know in the first five, after I get five people to say yes, I might be like, or even one person says yes. I'm like, oh crap, I need to have a way to get on. I can give you the link to this. Do I want you to have the link to this directly? Or do I want you to have do I want to have a video that you can watch so you know how to get ready for the live streams and so on and so forth? And I think that I'm smiling right now because there's a list of things that I know I need to get done. Like a new like sales sequence, a new video sequence to help people get ready. Like I have a course to help people prepare for the podcast. I'm like, I need to do something for the lives. And I haven't done it yet. I think the reason I haven't done it yet is because it's an action that needs to get done. It just doesn't need to get done yet because I don't have anyone that I've invited onto the lives yet. And so I think that there's an element of necessity that helps me out a lot where I'm like, oh, this is needed now, and like I knew it was going to be needed, but it didn't make a difference. And I think this is where I always come back to. I'm like, when I have the traffic, then I can handle whatever the next problem is that needs to get done. But if there's no one coming in, then it's like I'm just building for a hypothetical versus actually getting in and doing something. So I'm gonna take off and play with that there. I'm gonna sit down and reach out to individuals, and when I go to reach out and I feel like apprehensive because something's not set up or that I'm like or they respond back and they say yes, and I'm like, okay, what's the next step? I'll just have to address it then. And here's the fun part. I was thinking about this morning, and it still feels really true. It's like almost no one is going to watch this live stream, right? There will be the people who watch it live right now. There will be people who see that it happened. There'll be people who get see the clips about this live stream it came up, and then it'll be like diehard like people in the future that are like, and hey, future you, if you're listening to this, um, thank you, Outlier, for playing this game. There are gonna be people who want to know where it came from. There are gonna be people who are like, I'm gonna watch everything because there's always something I can learn based on the way that Niiamah shows up, and so those people will come and watch it. But most people on the planet, most people who I want to work with, like they're not, they won't know about this. I can say everything I want to do, and like no one's going to look at it. And so I think that what feels fun about that is that I can come to you and like try and figure this out and be a bit messy here. Process. I'm an audio processor, so it also helps that I'm actually talking about what I'm going to do. Um, and by a week from now, if not even tomorrow, this whole system could be all be in play because I've already because but like it's not gonna feel like I don't no one's thinking about me in between this time and that, right? And so even though I'm saying one thing and it looks messy and I'm trying to figure out things right now, the fun part for me is that like by the time most people see this, we would already figure this out, you know? By the time most people see, like they'll be just seeing me with people on here and they won't even know that this whole thing was part of my like invitation engine and that I was like down on myself and that I had like it was a breakthrough that happened on Thursday night, or no, it wasn't Thursday, it was Tuesday night. And then between Tuesday night and the next Tuesday night, I got 30 people a day every day for the next 3 weeks onto the show. Like that's how this game works. That's what I'm excited for. And like getting 30 people a day every day didn't mean that on Wednesday I got it or Thursday or whatever, but it might be that every single day I'm making progress and I found a way to invite people. And then I found out like, then I realized I didn't have the right link. Then I realized that, oh no, I was getting a bunch of questions that people were saying, how does this work? And this is where the volume comes in. This is where I'm like, oh, I'm sending out a lot of invitations. Oh, these like, oh, let me, I feel really good about this. This is where I'm at. So I'm gonna take off. If you're still here on the live, like leave a message, like share with me your biggest takeaway from anything that took place on this live. Let me know what struck you, what was helpful for you. I love being able to see and grow along the way with you. I'll share some of my insights in the meantime. So some of the bigger insights for me was just remembering around vulnerability, and my way of working through vulnerability is to actually be honest, open, and be seen with it, and to share it. And so that ends up helping it become something that I don't have to hide or works negatively against me. It actually ends up being something that I am genuinely excited to experience because I know I can integrate it inside. That's one. What else is playing out? The other insight here of just like, oh, these live streams, they aren't frivolous. Like it doesn't matter what it is for everyone else. I actually had a vulnerability hangover. I haven't had that in years. There's something about doing this process that is causing me and forcing me to grow, and that feels really good. Like it's there's alignment, even if it does, even if I like just even like even if I get judged for it, I'm like even the fact that I'm thinking I'm getting judged for it is part of why this is so valuable. Um, and then the third thing right now would be where I ended this year, where I realized that, oh, I'm going to try. My tendency is to try and plan every single turn and know every single traffic light and so on and so forth with contingency plans for all those things. And that's my as a strategy, and that's what's appropriate and professional, and like that's a good leader. And instead, I'm like, I get led every day by Google Maps, and all it just says is like in 300 feet, like merge to the right, and that's all I know. I don't even know what to do 300 feet in front of me. Then it goes down to 100 feet. Then it says 50 feet. And then it's like zero. And then after the zero, I'm like, do I am in the left lane? I'm in the right lane. And it's like, go to the right lane. I'm like, okay. I just go where I need to go. I don't even know past that 300 feet what's happening. And I think that like, if I can give myself that kind of, and I've always gotten to where I need to get to. And guess what? When I make a wrong turn or I miss the exit or I was like it's either left or right. I'm gonna go left, and it turns out it's like make a right turn. I'm like I'm in the wrong lane now. I make the left, and then it says rerouting. All right, it says rerouting. It does it again, and it says okay. Now, given that this is where you're going, and this is the speed in which you're going, and the direction you're going in, make a right here. Make a U-turn, whatever it is, or take the next exit. So there's I didn't apply that to business. I didn't apply that to my growth into bringing things out to life. I had been telling myself I needed to know every single thing along the way before going, or it wasn't worth doing. And now I realize I'm like, oh, as long as I have gas in the car, and even that, my brain's like, no. As long as you have enough gas to get to a place where you can get more gas, like you're good. And I think that's what's happening right now. I'm like, I've built enough of an engine that I just need to go invite people, and then I'll figure out what happens after I make the exit. The exit, someone says yes. I'm like, oh, okay. What do we do now? All right. So I'm gonna take off. You'll see me here in 2 hours, no matter what, at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm bringing on someone to come, and we're gonna have an Outliers Edge roundtable together. It's gonna be pretty awesome, pretty amazing. So her name's Jennifer Leday, an incredible individual. We got a chance to connect beforehand, and you know, so far everyone I've asked who wants to do it live has just said yes. And I'm like, oh, I just need to make this. Let me just change like where we're going to do it now, because then that's easy. And you'll probably just see me just go out and just invite people to just come on and just do. I might do like 2 or 3 days of just pure podcast stuff before I get into the coaching stuff, because I know I know how to do that. And so I'm like, I'd rather start with what I know, and then branch off and grow, but just make sure that I don't sit on my laurels for a month. I just do it for a day. It's like, okay, cool. I did 6 podcast episodes in a day, not one podcast a week over 6 weeks, or once a month or whatever it is. So I learned what other people learn in 6 weeks, I learned in one day. Like that's the game. That's the compounding game. That's why I love volume. Volume in and of itself is a proxy for speed, right? And that's fun. That's fun for me. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Thanks for playing here. I will see you all in about 2 hours at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, where we have Jennifer Leday, who's going to be joining us on the Outliers Edge Roundtable, or Outliers on the Edge. I have to figure out what that means. By the way, I never really talked about Outliers on the Edge. That's the name of what I think I'm going to call the live streams going forward, or the invitations I'm going to have for people. So instead of saying come onto the Outliers Edge podcast, I think that one focuses more on like you being an outlier and you being able to talk about your edge. But Outliers on the Edge, I think that it gives. We'll see if it makes a difference. It's like the difference between an apostrophe and like two prepositions. Not, I think they're prepositions on and the. We'll see what they are. You can let me know about that if you know. But well, I think there's something about making it more active, than descriptive. So Outliers Edge is it's an entity, like it's the outliers on the edge. Whereas here, it's yeah, it's I want to find the active element of it. That's what I'm looking for. I'll probably even go talk to ChatGPT about this in a bit. But it's like I want to find like what's the way that I can convey to people when I say, great, you're interested in being on the Outliers on the Edge platform. So clearly we're going to be talking about you being on your edge. We're going to do something that is on your edge. We're not going to talk about, we're going to do something that's on your edge. What is that? Great. Let's have that conversation. That's what we do on here. If you want a safer place to go, you can go do something else. But this is Outliers on the Edge live. It's like we're just doing it in real time. So I want to make sure I'm speaking to Outliers on the Edge. I want to make sure I'm saying it, getting it inside of my body. So what you like, here's the meta part of this. I feel like I should have like another camera that's meta replay, like that shows you what's going on inside of me. So the meta part of what me talking about Outliers on the Edge is that I wanted to. It hasn't flown off the tongue, off the top of my tongue. Every time I see it, I'm like, I should say something about it, and I didn't until minute 58 of this conversation, right? So I'm in the practice now of talking about Outliers on the Edge. I'm in the practice of seeing like, does that flow off the tongue? Outliers on the Edge. Outliers Edge does it. Is it like on the? Does it like? Is it just get in the way? Is there a way I can have Outliers Edge, but to make it edgier? Like is it to make it more forward leading, to make it more creative versus just kind of a body? These are some of the things I'm asking myself here, and so. I'm glad I got a chance to play with it. Thanks for being on with me here. We're going to make this a solid 60 minutes. here. So I'm going to be on taking any questions you have, answering anything in the meantime for at least another minute. And if you are interested in coming to join us live, and you don't want to come onto the live stream, but you want to get to meet a lot of the other outliers we have. Want to get supported and have your ideas challenged. Want to find your ways of creating out in a way that is genuine to you, that is unique to you, that you want to have a place where when you're feeling a vulnerability and hangover, you're held properly and continue to be supported in a meaningful way, not just like from a surface level place. Then you want to come be a part of the Outliers Edge movement, which you can come and join us at school.com/outlier, or you can take your phone out right now. In the upper left hand corner, there's a QR code that says join the movement. You can just scan that QR code and use that to go and start your free account, and then come in and talk to us and join us from there. All right. That's the way we play this game. I will see you all in about 2 hours at the very latest here with Jennifer Leday inside of the Outliers Edge Roundtable. All right. Until then, be you on purpose, Outliers. Be you on purpose. Journey on.